This is my first try at showing off some of my not quite vintage stereo equipment yet. This is from the late 90s into the early 2000s, except for the turntable, which is a Fluence 80 RT85. Below that right now, I have a Pioneer Elite. Pioneer Elite DVD player DV09. Below that right now, I have a nice Marantz processor, the AV9000. Below that, I have a Pioneer Elite PD65. And below that, I've got a nice Kenwood KM-X1 5-channel amp. And that's my system for now. I do have other pieces that I might bring out later on. And like I say, this is my first foray, and I think these are great equipment if you can find them for a good price. And I'll let you know what I think a good price for these items are, around what I paid for them. All right. So I'm trying my first video for YouTube on stereo equipment that I've purchased. My hi-fi journey started in my mid-teens. I had a friend who had a Marantz, probably a 2235 or a 2245 AV receiver. I don't know what kind of speakers. And that sort of started me on my hi-fi journey. My system at my house was fairly cheap. It was a Panasonic with the built-in turntable. No, not separate. So, yeah, so now I've sort of gotten into collecting electronics, and I'm trying to do a little video to show that you can get some great electronics for fairly cheap, not a great deal of money, and still get good performance. So I recently just sold a Marantz AV9003 and MM8003 to somebody, and that was my main surround system. 7.1 Dolby True HD, DTS, so on and so forth. But for my surround sound system now, I have an HTA9. It's just smaller, does the job. I do have a Onkyo receiver that does Dolby Atmos that I haven't used yet. It's just with surround sound, you got all the cables that you got to run and all that, and speaker placement. So I just went with an easier setup. I'm in an apartment, but now with systems, I buy a lot of. I have an AV, a Marantz AV9000, and Kenwood power amp. KM-X1 6-channel amplifier. They're both THX certified. And the story behind these two items is I purchased them from a guy with a Pioneer plasma, the 151FD Pro 151FD plasma display monitor, which at the time, back in 2009, was the top TV technology, 1080p. And I had with that, I was using, for a long time, I was using that Marantz AV8003 and MM8003 amplifier. I've had many other amps over the time. I've had a Pioneer VSX94 TXH, I believe it is. But now I use these, even though they're DTS and multi-channel, I mainly use them for 2-channel listening with, I have right now some Polk RT2000Ps hooked up. So let me show you the inside of the processor. It's a DTS, digital DTS surround, Dolby Digital surround processor. Here's the inside of the unit. You can see this is the FM tuner board. You've got some pre-ins and pre-outs and maybe some other outputs on this. There's a couple of more boards underneath that for the SHVS. This board right here is your digital input board for your digital sources, digital CD or DVD sound, so it can process it properly. And that's the thing, this Kenwood amp comes with a controller of its own called the KC-X1, but it does not have digital inputs. So granted, it says you can use it as a surround processor, but you're only going to be taking in 2 channels, and as long as it says Dolby surround on it and you put in those 2 channels, and you use like THX Cinema or their DSP things, it'll take those 2 channels and I guess make a simulated surround sound from those 2 channels, because there's no digital inputs on the Kenwood KC-X1. Now, you can get these at a very reasonable price. This 5.1 channel surround processor, a good price on this is probably anywhere from $200 to $300. Now, I bought that, the amplifier, and the plasma display. This was back in like 2012 or 2013. I bought all of these for roughly $1,000. I think I paid $1,000 for the display, which was a $5,000 display, and the guy just sort of threw these 2 items in with it. And the reason I think he was using the Marantz processor and the Kenwood amp is because the Kenwood processor, or yeah, the Kenwood control unit did not have digital inputs. So one thing about electronics that I think everybody should know if you want to get into this is try to keep them as clean as possible. I mean, you might have to break your system down and blow it out, but you want to keep them pretty much dust free. You can see this one, I just blew it out. I try and do this every once in a while to my processors and amps. Let me take a little, pause this video here, and I'll show you the back of the processor. So here's the back of the processor. You've got direct inputs for your... Alright, well, trying to do a video on this Marantz AV9000 processor, 5.1 surround processor. Hopefully I can edit this all together with my other clips. So here's the back of the unit. You got direct in for center, subwoofer, surround left and right. Over here you have your digital board on the far left, which you have a coax out, an optical out, then 4 digital inputs, 2 optical, 2 coax, and an RF in, which is usually for a laser disc player. You have several S-video inputs, which was a format back in the 90s or so. Got TV, Laserdisc, DVD. Then you have your analog inputs here. Composite video, which is just one connection with left and right audio. You got audio outputs here if you want to record. Then you have your audio outs, left, right, surround, left, right. And then you have component video, which can process up to 720p. And then here on the right, you have your switched outlet and an unswitched outlet, and then your power input here. So that's the Marantz AV9000, which, like I say, I believe is a very good 5.1 processor, especially if you can get it at a good price. Like I say, I mean, if it's in really good condition, you might expect to pay maybe $300 for it, maybe a little bit more. But look on Facebook Marketplace, and you might find one. So now I'm going to pause the video and close this up and show you guys the Kenwood power amplifier, KM-X1. Alright, be right back. So here's my Kenwood power amplifier, 6 channels, left surround, left channel, center channel, subwoofer, right channel, right surround. You have your power button and your speaker on off button. Trying to do this without, I don't have very good lighting. Here's the top of my unit. It's in really good shape. Now I'm gonna pause and take the cover off, show you the inside and the back of the unit. Alright, well, here's the back of the unit. As I was, my phone camera keeps on shutting off. So you got your inputs, left, right, surround, center, subwoofer. You got a 25-pin DB connector. I think that might be when you have the Kenwood KM-X1, you hook that to it, and then that will give you your 5.1 surround sound instead of trying to do it from, because there are no digital inputs on that. So yeah, so here's some more video on the Kenwood KM-X1. As you can see, here's the left channel. You got your power transistors down there. Right channel, You got the same thing, all your power transistors down there for your right channel. Got a nice big transformer here. There might actually be two transformers. I think there's a transformer here and maybe a transformer back here under this board here. Yeah, so this amplifier, I've seen the amplifier and the control unit on eBay for bid of about starting bid of $450. That's if you can get it for $450. I mean, the amplifier itself, you should probably pay no more than $300 for it. But I mean, if you want to keep the aesthetics and have the matching control amplifier, even though you might not use it, just for you know, nostalgia purposes, because like I say, that processor, I think to get the actual 5.1 decoding, you have to get yourself a DB 25 pin connector. Otherwise, you're just inputting stereo in and maybe trying to process that into 5.1 surround. So because there are no digital inputs on the KM-X1. And as I was saying earlier, this amplifier is rated at about 130 watts, both channels driven. That's in a stereo mode. And I think that's with the KC X1. There might be a stereo mode on that, and it switches in. If you use all 5.1 surround, I believe it's rated at 100 watts per channel. And I've used this for the last several months with my RT 2000 Polk speakers, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It's great two-channel listening. So yeah, this, if you can find this amplifier for, like I say, $200 to $300 in good condition, it's a steal. And if you know anything about electronics and you think you might want to try and fix one, if you can get one for, you know, $100, $150 and try and restore it, I think it would be a good restoration. Yeah, so this is the Kenwood power amplifier KM-X1. Yep. Really great little 6-channel amplifier there.